All right, let me bring in my sister here. Hang on. Let's see.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me? Yes, everyone can hear you. Perfect. I think we were going to be talking about just general family things. Is that right? Is that what we were going to talk about? Is there anything
Yeah.
specific?
No, you and I were talking the other day on
Mm,
text message about some aspects of our background from before you were born that
yeah.
filled in some gaps for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So I was under the impression that all right, I'm going to try to use fake names cuz when I was, every time I
yes.
talk about this stuff, I always use fake names because I don't
Yep.
want anything to come down on anybody. And if somebody specific asked me like one of our brothers to not talk about any of their stuff no matter what, even with a fake name, I wouldn't, but nobody said
Right. Yeah.
anything. So anyway, I've been
Yeah.
calling mom Jenny and yeah, I guess Jenny Young
Yes.
and Chick I'm sorry and Chuck Young,
Yeah.
Jenny and Chuck Young, yeah. So there
Yeah.
were those people. I was under the impression that mom was brought into the religion by Jenny and Chuck Young, but apparently not. So just some
No.
background for the audience. My mom, she got like separated from my dad, right? And because there was like a lot of abuse and stuff there. And you were already born, right? You and our brother, who I will call
I
Jeff.
think you called him Jeff in your book.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jeff. Wow, I could gravitate to Jeff. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So Jeff and you were already born by the time mom and dad were separated, right?
Correct. Correct. So the way that worked out is they were separated, going through a divorce at the time. I was two.
And they weren't Jehovah's Witnesses, so that you guys celebrated Christmas at the time, birthdays, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
crazy.
My last Christmas was I was 3 years old. So I was born in
Wow.
77, 80. So like 80, 81 was my last Christmas before we left and I started celebrating again.
Do you
Um,
remember your first Christmas out of curiosity?
I don't remember any
Okay.
Christmas except for that third Christmas.
Oh,
That
okay.
that
So you
last.
remember Christmases a little bit then.
So yeah, I remember the last Christmas when I was 3 years old. So that
Hmm.
would have been like 1980. I was born in November of 77. So I think it was like 1980, possibly even 1981. But
Okay.
prior to that point, I also remember various friends that mom would hang out with. And
Mm.
two of them were, I can't come up with a fake name, David and Kathy. I'll leave
All
off the
right. Well,
last
yeah,
name.
David and Kathy, that works. Their
Yeah.
last
So
name's super unique, so we'll just go with common first names.
correct, correct. So mom's, I don't think she drove a bus for one of the local school districts with Kathy, and that's how they met.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. And mom had done that when Lance was a little baby toddler as well,
Right?
and we would go on some runs. But anyway, so she met Kathy driving bus, and they started studying. I mean, you know how it is. I say you know how it is. You personally, yes,
Yeah.
know that is. Um, Kathy would preach to mom about her beliefs and the
Hmm.
witnesses' beliefs and the Bible and this and that, and mom gravitated to it. Um, Mom started studying a little bit with Kathy, and Kathy's husband David would come over to the apartment and he'd fix things, or they'd visit, or whatever, and it was all uh, by all expectations, it was very wholesome and proper. There wasn't anything weird going on. Well, at some
Interesting.
point, David and Kathy were going through some shit, I guess, and they Kathy kind of like ended up kind of pushing mom and David together alone when she shouldn't have.
Ooh, that's super weird.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's my understanding of it, because like I said, I grew up with this experience, and so mom's talking about it over time was not yeah, whatever she was saying about it, I was hearing it.
Right? Oh
um
God.
yeah, so in that time, David and Kathy had problems. Mom and David kind of had a little thing, and
Hmm.
David ended up disfellowshipped. They ended up divorced. Um,
David and Kathy did.
say again?
David and Kathy were
David and
divorced, you say?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct,
Okay.
correct. So David and Kathy were divorced. Obviously, that caused a big upheaval in the congregation. Mom ended up moving to another town where I think David and Kathy set it up for mom to start studying with Jenny and Chuck or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow she got connected with them. And so,
Interesting.
yep, so totally different congregation. David and Kathy over the years have been in and out of the organization. I don't know, I don't keep up with them, but mom is currently or was in a congregation with some family members of theirs.
Wow,
Um,
that's interesting. Got with David and Kathy, you mean? Family of them?
yeah, with
Boy, that's got to be
family members
awkward.
of David. Yeah,
Oh my God.
I think it is, yeah, but it doesn't. It's never come up with mom, not in
Right.
years, other than oh yeah, so and so was at the Kingdom Hall.
Okay, that's really interesting. So I'm gonna have to release a second edition of my book in that case. I thought that Chuck and Jenny knocked on her door.
Nope.
That's super interesting. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, Jenny and Chuck are definitely the ones that I guess brought them into the truth.
Hmm.
Blech.
Yeah,
Vomit
you're
from.
calling it the truth there. Catch
Yep,
yourself. Anyway,
yep.
yeah, that's interesting. So they brought her to it, and it was not long before she told Dad to come in also, right, to join the religion
Yeah,
with her.
she has told me that she told Dad, "You need to study the Bible and become a witness, or you're never going to see the kids again."
She told me the
That's
same
straight.
story. That's crazy. That's a crazy story to tell, right?
Yeah, and
God.
honestly, I think in retrospect, if we brought it up to her now, I think she would be like, "Yeah, that's a little bit rough."
Yeah,
But
absolutely
yeah,
nuts.
yeah, it's crazy pants.
So yeah, I guess she eventually got joined the religion. It probably took her what, a year or two to join, I imagine, right? Something like that.
Yeah, she got baptized. Let me think. She and Dad had to get married before they got baptized. So I was
Remarried.
4, remarried, correct, because they married each other, divorced, and married each other again. That's not crazy at all.
Right. Bad
Um,
idea.
yeah. And there wasn't a very large gap from divorce to remarriage. I don't know how long it was, but it was pretty short.
Mm.
But yeah, so I was 4 years old when they got married on January 8th, which is also Elvis's birthday.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. And they incidentally they shared an anniversary with Jenny and Chuck's son and his wife,
So
who
shared an
are mhm,
anniversary with Jenny and Chuck. Oh, so we're talking about the same, the family
right.
friends.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yes. But um, oh God, you don't even name these people in your book. It's not the family you're thinking of. It's the older brother.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, we can
Yeah.
probably use first names because first names are
It's
pretty common.
they're not.
Oh, okay.
They're
Okay. Well, you can text it to me if you. Oh, I see it.
I,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, them and
Were they
actually
also
their son
Youngs?
is yes, they are also
Okay.
Youngs. And they have they have kind of it seems like a big family. We grew up with two of their sons. All of
Mm.
their sons are out. I don't think they have any children in.
Oh, good.
Um, but we grew up with two of their sons, although I remember one that was immediately older, so the younger three.
Mm.
Um, but the very youngest one, you really looked up to a lot as a kid, and he's out, and he and I are in touch on
Oh
Facebook.
no.
He's super cool.
Wait, we're talking about Shane?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I vaguely
Yeah.
remember. I don't remember face, but I do remember like a name and stuff. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's good
He
news.
listens to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
no
really
way.
cool.
Maybe he'll hear
Yeah.
this.
You're right. Hi, Shane.
That's
Oh
cool.
yeah, he's cool people.
Yeah.
And in fact, looking back, like there are a lot of people that I grew up with before you were born that are out, and I'm still in touch with.
Mm. That's
And
crazy.
yeah, I'm so one of my tattoos, my cupcake tattoo was done by one of them, and it's just I'm so excited about it. I'm so proud of these people for getting out when they did, whether it was
Mm-hmm.
by choice or by force. I'm really glad that they're out. I'm glad that they have seen the truth about the truth, and
Yeah,
I'm glad
yeah.
that we do too. It's really nice to be on the other side of all that.
Yeah, absolutely is. Like, don't even realize what it does to you until you're outside and
Yeah,
experience real life for the first time.
yeah,
Absolutely
and
nuts.
being in for nearly 30 years like I was, I'll be 47 in a couple of weeks, and there is still stuff that, like, real life stuff that I experience, and I'm like, oh wait, what?
Right.
That, oh, like stuff that I didn't know or didn't realize. And I can't think of anything like off the top of my head right now, but um yeah, it's very strange. And I can't chalk it all up to being neurodivergent, autistic, or anything like that. A lot of
Yeah.
it is because of what we were raised with, and sheltered from so drastically.
100%. Yeah, I know that like I didn't know what to do for Christmas. I didn't know how Christmas is supposed to operate. I mean, when do you open the
Mhm.
presents? Who brings the stockings? Do you
Oh my
just
God,
the family,
yes.
Like you don't realize what things you don't realize until you're in the
Yes.
position. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I just a few years ago, there's a couple that are also coworkers at the company that I work for,
Mm,
and we had been pretty friendly a few years ago. And one of the questions I was texting her was, "How do I decorate a Christmas tree?"
right.
And she laughed because she was like, "Oh my God, you poor thing." And
Yeah.
she's giving me all the tips, all the way that her family has decorated over the years. And I didn't know this, but you don't have to decorate the back side of the Christmas tree.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Wow. Okay.
I
This is
do
news to me.
anyway because why not?
Yeah.
That's half the fun for me. But it was eye opening to realize
Yeah.
that I don't have to decorate the back half of the tree.
And also,
Um,
it's other little things like that too. Like, when do you decorate the tree? Because different families have different traditions. Like my wife's family, they decorate it all together on, like, I don't know, October 31st or whatever, like the day after Halloween, whenever that is, November
I
1st.
love that.
It's like a
I
big
love that.
tradition, and
Yeah.
making cookies and stuff. We don't have any of those traditions.
Because of making a cookie tradition. Yeah, I'm like, hey kids, let's go bake. And it's like July 3rd or something, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, her family, they make a big thing of it. So they usually have like a Christmas um get together, no matter where they are. They're going to be in New York City this year with us, but we went to
Oh, I love
Nebraska
it.
last time. Yeah. So anyway,
Oh, that's
we all get together and they make the dough and they get the sprinkles and all that, and they make like a billion cookies, like so many it's too many, and people all bring them home from the party.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's like a
Wow,
tradition. It's pretty cool.
I love that.
Little traditions that we don't have. I wonder what
Yeah.
mom and dad's traditions were before they left the religion. I'm sorry, before they
Okay.
joined the religion.
We didn't have any. I was too young. I was 3,
Mm.
but we didn't do anything. We went to grandma and grandpa's house.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Like
yeah, and
mom's
actually
parents?
yeah, mom's parents. We did that all the time. Every year we would go, and it wasn't for Christmas, quote unquote. Mom would take us
Right.
after after everybody had the meal or something. Um, and actually, that's not quite accurate. For years, she would take us all to grandma and grandpa's on the holiday because that's when everybody's getting together. And
Right.
that was her reasoning, that was her logic. Somewhere in my teen years, after she had processed through the false memory syndrome that she had
Mm-hmm.
been
Yeah.
dealing with, which is a whole nother thing. And I don't know about you guys or anybody else out there, but I have nothing but compassion for mom about
Totally.
that.
100%. Yeah. I've only mentioned it in
Um,
passing, but I'll mention it again and you can correct me if I'm wrong and we'll just move on
okay.
in a second. But go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah. So after all of that episode during my teen years,
Hmm.
um, we would then go. We started going to grandma and grandpa's again at the holidays, but only in the afternoon, like after 2, after
Mm.
the meal had basically been served, so that she felt like it wasn't really celebrating the holiday, and we
Okay.
still got to see everybody.
Okay. Well, that's something. And how old were you when that stopped, or did that just continue on? Because sometimes she did
Um,
things like that, just continue on.
like it kind of continued on until you
Hmm.
guys moved to West Virginia.
Hmm. Interesting. Now,
Yep.
regarding the false memory thing, I know very little about it, so I'm just going to keep it super short and vague. But I understand that, like, she started having all these memories because of this woman in the congregation,
Yes.
Sandy, told her she's going to help her, like, uncover lost memories, like a
Yes.
psychologist or something. And they were all
Yes.
fake. And it was a bunch of stuff about, like, grandpa, like, hurting people, like, murdering people and taking
Violent.
advantage of
Yeah.
stuff. And, like,
Yep.
it got so real that the police showed up to his
Pol
house to
Police were
search.
involved. Yeah, I don't remember if they searched, but
Oh,
they they and you know what? Honestly, I don't even remember if they showed up
oh,
for anything. I don't have that exact detail, but they did come to our house and interviewed mom.
wow.
And yeah, and we were on strict instruction at school that we do not give our phone number out to anyone,
Yeah,
most especially like teachers in the middle of class would ask me because oh my God, I hated school. I love learning, but I hated school. It was a terrible environment for
right.
an undiagnosed autistic kid.
Yeah.
It's just BS. But anyway, fully support our teachers. I know their hands are tied on a lot of shit, but
Yeah.
um, so I had a teacher who wanted our phone number and I wouldn't give it to her, and I actually got written up and sent down to the principal's office.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
stupid. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because at the time, that principal of the high school that I attended had been my kindergarten principal as well. So I felt very comfortable with him, but I also
Mhm.
walking in felt like a 5-year-old kid again.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely not push a kid like that. And you should, can't they get the phone number from their logs or whatever, from the,
Yeah,
their
yeah,
documents or
our
whatever?
phone
Like,
number was yeah.
that's
Yeah,
really
our phone number
stupid.
was available. She could have gotten it from anybody else. But that was also pretty standard at the time for teachers to just ask for your phone number so that they can call home and
Mm.
talk to mom and dad. And quite honestly, I don't hate that. I think teachers should feel the freedom to call mom and dad
Yeah,
and be like,
sure.
hey, your kid's being a
Totally.
jackass,
Yeah.
or your kid needs extra help, you know. Um, but anyway, yeah, so I wasn't allowed to give out our phone number. I did
Damn.
not our grandparents for like 2 or 3 years. And one time, in fact, I was hanging around with one of the girls from the local congregation. She lived in the same town that our grandparents did. And we went to see a movie. We went to see Cool Runnings while it was still in theaters, if
Mm.
that must tell anybody how old I am there. I still love that movie.
Vaguely
Big,
remember hearing about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the lead actor Doug when I was a teenager. I just thought he was the funniest guy in the world. Anyway, so the girl and I are standing outside the theater waiting and for her parents to pick us up, and two young men come walking up there around our age, and I look and I realize it's our cousin Michael.
Oh, really? Okay.
He didn't recognize me.
Because you hadn't seen him in so long, I guess.
Yep. Yep. And he
Wow.
and I grew up like besties. We grew up like siblings. Grandma was
Yeah.
always watching both of us. We were over at Grandma and Grandpa's house every weekend, practically my entire life. And so when this happened, it changed everyone's world. It changed
Yeah.
everyone's reality. And very unfortunately for the worst. And
Yeah.
all because this Looney Tune woman in the Kingdom Hall was going through her own personal mental health trauma and combined with satanic panic
Yeah.
managed to convince my mother that my grandfather had done heinous acts and killed people, and not
God,
one stitch of it was true.
that is
Not one stitch.
insane, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
and
nobody faced any legal repercussions in the end, right?
correct, correct. Nothing was found, and it makes me so sad for our grandpa
Yeah.
and
Totally.
grandma for that, everybody involved, but like
Yeah.
I just never could wrap my head around the fact that my grandpa could have been capable of anything like that. Because
Yeah.
no, no.
Yeah,
Have you met him?
100%.
No.
Right, absolutely.
um,
He's just an honest guy that just like he fought in the Korean War, I think, and he just like came home, built a house with his dad, and lived in it for like 50 something years, right? Like he's just a
yeah,
normal
yeah.
person.
Raised 87 kids,
Yeah,
and two grandkids. Come
yeah, yeah.
on, he's a good
Absolutely
guy.
nuts. Yeah. So anyway,
And
from my understanding, after the false memory stuff, grandma and grandpa pretty much forgave mom nearly immediately, right? They did a
yeah,
college class on how memory works and
yes,
stuff, and that was pretty
yes.
close. That's nice. That's honorable of them, I
It
figure.
is. It really is. And I know that it was hard for mom's siblings also,
Mm,
but I'm
yeah.
I'm also of the understanding that everyone um understands that this wasn't really, it- they get that it wasn't on purpose and stuff like that,
Yeah, it wasn't mom's fault, it seems to me. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, yeah. And our aunt that had been in and left, I don't remember what name you used for her, but the one with the boys, they had been in and
Usually,
left.
yeah, yeah.
She was
Kathy, I think.
very Yeah, Kathy. She was very supportive of grandma and grandpa through it, but also from my recollection, she was also supportive of mom.
Wow.
Um, yeah, everybody was like, look, some shit is squirrely here and it's got
Yeah.
to get figured out, and eventually it will. It was a challenge, I'm quite sure, for
Yeah,
them.
no doubt, absolutely. And this is an interesting thing to me. Like they all came around and managed to forgive mom, and I believe that that's the right thing to do. But when you
Yeah.
think about it, like all of our aunts and uncles have different moral perspectives on the world. Like some are Republicans, some are Democrats, and some are left and right, further in either direction, whatever. But
Yep.
they all
Yep.
came to the same moral conclusion, and that kind of tells me that like pretty much everybody in the United States has the same moral foundation as everybody else. They're just working from a different set of like base facts. That's what it seems to me anyway. I don't know. I thought it was
I
interesting.
would agree. I would agree. I see a similar mindset with me and my ex-husband when it comes to the kids.
Oh yeah, because
Um,
he's a little off the rails, right, with being a Republican or whatever.
yeah. And yeah, that. But I
The
also
way
know
you
that
say that tells me it's a little more than just off the rails.
it drives me nuts, really. And his parenting style is very, very different from mine.
Yeah.
I know he loves the kids. I know his goal is for the best outcome possible for
Yeah.
them. But we are coming at it from two different angles.
Well,
And I
it's
just gotta, when we do have an issue, I just keep reminding him, dude, it's okay. We're coming at it from different sides. We both want the same goal, the best thing for the kids. And I think that that's really important. It's important, and it matters to the kids, and they appreciate it. They notice it.
Yeah, what a mess. And I understand that our brother Lance is also a little off the rails in the same way, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of like Trump
Yeah.
supporting type of deal,
Oh man.
you think?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I
Him
wonder
and
if Lance is a full-blown avowed Trump supporter now or if he's just like going down
yes.
that road. He is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
He
heartbreaking,
and
man.
yeah, he and my ex.
Oh my God, dude. That's so sad.
They are convinced that. Well, I don't know about the ex, but Lance. He's very supportive as far as doing what's best for the family. He's
Hmm.
often encouraging me to stock up on dry goods and staple
Okay.
foods. And
Uh,
thank you for the concern. I think I'll be all right, but thank you. And you
yeah.
know what? I take the information and I file it away just in case I do need that someday.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not interested in a Mad Max kind of lifestyle, and I'm
Yeah,
afraid that
exactly.
if Trump wins, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I don't want to.
figure I agree. Like society's not going to collapse no matter what. Even in well, it's not going to get this bad. Like I know that I think I've mentioned that I wrote a book about Germany in World War II, right? And the church and all that. Did I
Yeah,
tell you about it?
yeah.
The book is
Yes.
done, by the way. It hasn't released yet, but I'll
Okay.
send you a copy if you're interested. Anyway,
Yes.
um
Duh.
yeah, okay.
Autograph this one. Autograph this one.
Okay, I'll do that. This one's a lot shorter than the other. It's only 200 pages and
Okay.
it's got a lot of pictures in it. So, anyway,
Oh, cool.
as I was saying, even in Germany in World War II, society did not collapse. It's not going to
No.
collapse no matter what. We will still be able to get food down at the store and everything else. There will always be an infrastructure, always, in my opinion. However, being in Manhattan, if society does collapse, there's nothing I can do. I do still keep like a big like jar, a gigantic bucket full of beans and rice just in case, 5 pound bucket
Yeah.
of beans and rice just in case something
There's a
happens.
lot
But
you can do with that.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I could probably, the three of us, we could live off of that for a while, right? At least until
You'd be
things
sick
kind
of
of picked
beans
up.
by the time you're done, but yeah.
We'd be alive.
Yep.
So, anyway, yeah, I was going to keep water too, just in case. I have big water storage containers, but they don't fit
Yeah.
in Manhattan. There's no space in Manhattan. I'm sure you saw that with the hotel when you came here,
Oh
right?
man.
Everything is
Yeah. That was
small here, miniature.
such a cool experience though. Yeah.
Yeah, New York is a once in a lifetime kind of place. Truly incredible, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
But anyway, it's really sad that our brother is going down that road. I mean, he's always kind of been a prepper a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly expected this from the other brother, Jeff, though,
Jeff a
not
little bit,
Lance.
but no, you didn't expect this out of Lance? I'm shocked.
I didn't. No, I mean, I lived with the dude for years. I mean, as adults,
True,
Florida, we lived together. Um,
true,
I was,
true.
I had my kid, and it was us three
Right.
living in the house and everything. And I hung out with him a lot. We were really close for a long time. And I did not catch any hints that he would have been a Trump supporter. I mean, he's obviously completely off the rails, and he's a prepper and freaks out about society collapsing and all that stuff. But I never saw a Trump supporter out of him. I thought he was more skeptical than that.
He was for a while. I'm not really sure what turned it for him.
Yeah, I know. And also, when I knew him, anyway, he was very pro LGBT. Like, he didn't seem to care what people did with their lives. But it seems like he's kind of flipped on that one, huh? Interesting. So, what
Yeah,
about your ex? Is he anti-LGBT, or is there like a difficult kind of what's
he's
the thing?
he's not he's kind of like Lance,
Mm.
where, well, maybe a little bit different than that actually, because he thinks it's a mental illness for
Oh
my
no.
oldest.
Oh,
Yeah, he thinks, which I mean, she gets
damn.
therapy, she gets treatment, she's fine. Um, he is concerned for the way other people will perceive her and the way other people will treat her, and that
Mm,
is fully valid. That is my
totally,
concern
yeah.
as well, fully valid. But insisting that she's a boy and insisting that
Really?
she go dead name is not acceptable, and that doesn't help her.
Is that still happening?
Thankfully, no.
Okay,
But I
that's a
know that he
plus.
believes, I know what his beliefs are, He does struggle with using her chosen name, so he'll use a shortened version of it,
Yeah.
which is the same letter as it sounds like the same letter as the start of her dead name. So
Okay.
in his mind, it's conciliatory on his side, and she accepts that nickname.
Okay. Well, I suppose that's something. Truthfully, it's very jarring. As somebody who's very pro LGBT, do whatever I can to benefit the community and help. It's like surprising and kind of difficult to get used to. And I thought the hard part was going to be the pronouns rather than the name, but actually the pronouns are super easy for me. It was the name that was really
Yeah,
hard to get used to for me. Anyway, yeah, interesting. Dynamic. And I don't I'm surprised truthfully that your ex has come around at all. Like I said, as somebody who's pro LGBT, it's hard to get used
yeah,
to.
yeah.
But I mean, it's been a long time for in your case, right?
Yeah, yeah, like 6 years or something.
Yeah.
She was 17. She came out to me 4 days after her 17th birthday.
Damn. Well, that sounds like she'd
She's
been thinking about
24
it for a
now.
while then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's funny because looking back at her as a young child, I could see it. I could see it. And I would even slip up and be like, yeah, my daughter's plural.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? That no, that's not what I have.
Yeah, yeah.
This
It's
one's
hard. Yeah.
but it turned out I actually did have two girls.
Yep.
So, yeah,
It's
it's a unique experience, and like I'm glad that I can be supportive of
yeah.
her.
It is an adjustment for sure. What kind of infuriates me is like, and same with abortion generally. I know it's a big topic switch, but it's
The switch, yeah.
hard. It's hard to go through that for somebody. An abortion, it's not fun. People don't enjoy that. That's not
No.
something people just go out and do on the weekends or something. But it feels like it's being weaponized by people, like the real emotions that are involved with um, you know, having an LGBT family member or having an abortion or whatever, real emotions that you're dealing with are weaponized by the far right um,
Yes.
to convince people that they're right about everything and all that. It's really sad.
Yes. Yeah. And
Like they're
and
being
it's very
used.
clear that they don't have any mindset at all. They don't have any understanding at all of what it takes
Right.
for someone to be in that position and to have to make decisions that they have to make.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I hear a lot is use birth control. Well, okay, genius. Sometimes birth control fails.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sometimes birth control fails. I took all of the precautions I needed. and it still failed.
Yeah, and
Pregnancy is life and death for me. I cannot continue this. So get out of my fucking uterus.
yeah, and not just that, but there are situations in which, people are like taken advantage of and there is no
Yep.
opportunity to have birth control. And in those cases, it needs to
Yes.
be available to
Yes.
people, period.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like this is going to happen. Like people in society going to get abortions. It's going to take place. Now, are you going to increase the rate of death of people who get abortions by
Right.
50% or not,
Do you want to see it done with a knitting needle or a hanger, or would you rather see it done in a safe hospital doctor's visit environment?
Yeah.
Because it seems to me like one is definitely better than the other.
Yeah, and it's just like all propaganda and lies all the way down.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is why I don't vote Republican, because half the things that, well, I haven't talked to Lance in a while, but half the things that Lance talks about and that I've heard of, and half the things that your ex talks about, they're
Mm.
all lies. And it's not them lying
Yes.
necessarily. It's just like they're
Those
misinformed about it?
are parrots. Yes,
Yes.
they are parrots.
And it's
Um,
not the same in the rest of the world. It's not like that. That's why I don't vote on the right. It's just nuts.
right. Yeah. Yeah. One of my girls, she has a new boyfriend,
Mm,
great kid. His father is Asian.
mm,
And when we met up recently, a couple of weeks ago, to celebrate that daughter's birthday,
mm-hmm,
I met the boyfriend. Nice kid, perfectly smart. He's a student at one of the colleges here in Texas. And he met my daughter at their internship over the summer. They hit it off. It's great.
mm,
Well, I'm sitting there as we're talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, her dad is real right wing, and he's concerned. He's like, how right wing? Because he's brown. He's brown. He's not. He doesn't look super light. He is brown.
right.
And so he's definitely concerned, like, how right wing are we talking? Do I need to worry for myself, kind of a
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he'll be fine. He's just a freaking parrot.
Yeah.
He does not have any thoughts of his own about it. I mean, he thinks he does, but he's just spewing back the rhetoric that he is fed.
Damn.
So in his mind, yeah, protect your cats and dogs and build a
Oh my
wall.
God,
That's
dude.
yeah, man. And he lives like 2 blocks from one of the migration centers in their city.
Mm.
And he's just constantly going on about it. I drove by that place one day. It looks freaking scary. It
Really?
looks scary. Yeah. It's a lot of guards, a lot of law enforcement presence. You've got to check in at the front and stuff. And like, I get that they need to have a system of keeping track of people and stuff like that and
Hmm.
helping them get out into society, but it does not look like a very comfortable place for them inside.
Right.
and
Wow.
and I have compassion for them for that, because they're in a totally strange world, and they're kind of it. Honestly, Owen, I thought concentration camp when I walked by it.
Damn, that is insane and really sad. I know that most people that come over the
Yeah.
border are actually refugees. They're people who are
Yeah.
leaving war-torn areas. They're not like just people coming here to take advantage of our social system or whatever the hell. They are
Right.
like
It
suffering. They
takes a
have
lot of
been
work to.
suffering.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just I can't say it's sad, so to speak. I'm glad that they're here and I'm glad that they're getting help, but I do wish it was better.
You know what's sad? It's sad that people are pushing to make their lives worse out of fear
Even
or
harder.
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? While we're on the subject, you and I are native. We are Mohican.
Hmm.
It's in our blood. Yeah, yes, we grew up not as connected to our culture as would have been nice. Grandma really fought to connect. But the people that are screaming and yelling about these immigrants, get them out of here, are not from here
Right?
either.
I know.
You were an immigrant to begin with, you moron.
They were all
Yet,
immigrants. Yeah, everybody is an immigrant. It's so ridiculous.
come on. Come on. And
People are
trying to
just,
tell the ex-husband that is, or trying to get him to understand that is like next level. I looked at him, I'm
hmm
like, dude, get off my land. And he
Yeah,
was like, whoa,
right.
whoa, whoa. Yeah, how do you like that? Stupid.
Yeah, right. And it's like, I don't have to, I can just walk away from these conversations with Lance if I want to. I mean, I'm not in conversation, but I'm just saying I don't have to have these conversations, but you do
Right.
because you're
Yeah.
you know,
My kid's deaf.
yeah, so that's not fun. I think pretty much everybody in my life that I have to deal with is left leaning, or at least not a complete
Yeah,
nutcase. So, like our brother
yeah,
Jeff is not a complete nutcase. I can say with confidence,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
though he's
yeah,
kind of right
yeah. You
leaning.
know, truth be told, Lance isn't a complete nutcase either.
No?
I know he doesn't have a great history. I know, I know. Bear with me.
Okay.
I know he doesn't have a great history, and this whole prepper Trump supporting stuff is
Yeah.
does not make him look better.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think that he's definitely got some things to work through now, one way or another.
yeah, oh God, yes, yeah, yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
And I really
mhm.
wish him the best with the kids
I
stuff
do
too.
too. God, it just sucks. The whole thing sucks. It's not fun, and I
It
wish the kids the
does.
best too. But anyway, all
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna get off here and get to some other
Okay.
things. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we split
Nope.
ways?
Nope. Nope. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I will talk to you later on then, right?
Alrighty. Have a good one, chat. Bye, guys.
All right, later.